Okay, so for anybody that's ever wanted to see how messy my office is and the whole and all the green screen tricks, you got it now because I'm just doing this from YouTube directly. Um, let's see. All right, yeah, the guard. Hi, Dave. Glad you can make it over here. I hope everybody else can make it over here. I can't. Seriously, Restream was saying that my camera didn't work. Let's see. This overlay will need to be integrated to your third-party encode. Nope. Hi, Ed. What do you think of my messed up office? You guys are getting a glimpse of the reason why I have a green screen up every time. Thank you, Dave. I should probably share it too. Hold on. This is what I love. Oh, wait. Let me see. That's not going to work. Yeah. It's been a minute since I've done it's been a minute since I've done like direct from YouTube stuff. If you could see what's even behind this, you would. I don't know. I would probably win, Dave, if you could see what's behind this. And now I have no idea because now, see, here's the fun thing. Let's see. Moderation activity time stamps. Oh, this is some. Are we having fun yet, guys? Edit what? What do I edit? Oh, okay. Customizations, live chat, live display. Anyone? Okay. Okay, because now, oh, look at that. But I can. Okay. All right. Yeah. This is why I use Restream, because Restream has some really cool stuff, but it doesn't freaking help if it doesn't work, right, guys? Oh, so my Red Sox shirt. This is for I'm in mourning. We lost in 3 games straight to the Yankees. So I'm kind of in mourning for my Sox. Hey, Dave, you want to do me a favor? Can you put the link to this? I think you should be able to do that. Do me a favor, put the link to this video in the chats because I honestly can't get to it. I have like a specific my link is specifically for my studio. And I can't figure out how to get it. And I'm just not. Oh, yay. There's other people here. Thank you, Dave. See, Dave's my new moderator, just so everybody knows. I only have 2. And please respect my moderators. If for some reason, and listen, I love all of you guys, and the chances of them ditching one of your comments is going to be, slim to none. But for anybody that's watching this, please remember to respect the moderators. And if for some reason they do decide that something that you post isn't suitable, they do have my permission to delete it. I do trust them. Normally when I'm in Restream, I actually can't delete my own. That's one of the things I like. Thanks, Dave. That's one of the things I like about being directly into YouTube is that I can delete my own comments if I don't like them. But Restream actually won't let me delete. So I love the fact that I have moderators, and obviously I trust them immensely. So thanks, Dave, for accepting the mantle of moderator, you and Lasso. But yeah, it seems like I got trolled a few times. And I got trolled once when I had a guest. So, you think you're tiny, but nobody is too tiny. Nobody can go under the radar. People are always going to get trolled. No matter who you are on YouTube. So it's always nice to have that extra layer of protection when you have friends that you can trust to delete comments for you. Had to do a new link. See, now, perfect. Not next available. So now Buffer's great. I'm using the free version of Buffer so I can post to my socials. So perfect. Okay. Oh my God. You know what? I signed up for Blue Sky and I barely use it. I'm still kind of using the classics. I'm still kind of doing X and Facebook as the classics. But you know what? Let's get into it. We've already, 13 minutes behind the 8 ball. I'm not wearing my glasses. I had to kind of zone in on that. Okay, so 13 minutes behind the 8 ball. I didn't realize. I mean, you have no idea how many pages I took up in my notebook making notes for tonight, because we're going to go episode by episode. And the other thing is I didn't realize how easily it was for me to forget some of these episodes. Some of them get so complicated, but before we get started, let's see, I think I meant to talk about this last week and I didn't. Not only is David Ajala coming to Law and Order, I think he's coming mid-season, but Sonequa Martin Green is going to be joining Donnie Wahlberg in his new show, Boston Blue. It's a sequel to Blue Bloods. For some reason, Detective Danny Reagan is moving up north. He's heading back to Boston. Donnie, we all know Donnie is from Boston. So now he's going to be shooting in Boston. It's making me homesick. I lived up there for 4 years. I worked in Boston for about 2 of those years. I love, love, love Boston. It's like one of my favorite places. Best place to get lobster and chowder. But yeah, so I'm going to get really homesick watching this. But yes, Sonequa Martin Green and Donnie Wahlberg are going to be partnered. So that's going to be fun. I can't wait for that. And I also did want to let everybody know, I know that even with the pricing, the price break Creation is giving, the rooms at the Rio are wicked expensive. Let's stay with a Boston theme. They are wicked expensive, like ridiculous expensive. I'm a travel agent. I have access to a couple different sites, one of which will allow you to do payments. You can reserve a room and just make payment, like 20 payments. So you can make 20 payments between now and Star Trek STLV and have your room paid for if you really, 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 really want to go and stay at the Rio. Like me, I don't want to stay anywhere else, because if you sit down and you think about it, Gold Coast doesn't do it for me. Hey, Chris. Gold Coast doesn't do it for me. I want to be where the action is. Kind of paraphrasing Little Mermaid. I want to be where the people are. I want to be where the action is. I want to be able to go up to my room, especially because I have a booth. So I need to be down on the floor early. The Rio's nuts. Chris nailed it. The Rio is nuts. The Rio's nuts. Sorry, Chris, I'm on YouTube straight. So I can't I don't know if I can can I move comments? Is it just, hold on. Channel activity. Yeah, see, I can report, remove, put you in a timeout, hide. Yeah, so I can't put you up in here. But yeah, the YouTube, the Rio's wicked crazy. It's absolutely nuts. So if anybody wants to stay at the Rio and be able to pay it out over time, better than Afterpay, but because I won't charge you. There's going to be no interest. It's going to be 20 payments interest free. And I could really use the boost. So yeah, anybody that needs some travel agent services, reach out to me on any one of my NX7062 socials, and I will hook you up with a room at the Rio, hopefully that you can pay out over time, so you'll be able to stay where the action is. Oh wow. So the Creation, according to Ed, the Creation Coach was a huge drop from the regular rate. But you know what? They've already sold out on that rate. And I don't know if they're going to get any more rooms at the Rio at that rate, if they're going to extend the block. The Rio's sold out. The rate is sold out. I don't think the Rio's sold out. I do need to go reserve. I might actually do it after I get done here. Okay. Henry Winkler. Here's something else I wanted to talk about. And you may be asking, how can I relate Henry Winkler to Star Trek? Easy breezy. I was going to get complicated and say he worked with, I almost said Anson Williams and Donnie Most, who both did Star Trek. But it's not, the Hyatt the Long Island Hyatt. Yeah. But the Henry Winkler did this really great show a few years back with William Shatner called Better Late Than Never, where he and George Foreman and Terry, I almost said Farrell, Oh my God, football player. He was sort of a dick. Oh my God, Terry Bradshaw. Terry Bradshaw and Henry and William, they went around the world. They did all these amazing European countries and toured, and they were so fun to watch together. Somebody tried to get Shatner to say "Beam me up, Scotty," and Shatner said he wouldn't say it. He's like, I didn't say it on the show. I'm not. He's never going to say it. Yep, Terry Bradshaw. He's never going to say it. Never going to say "Beam me up, Scotty." Wouldn't do it, at least not on camera. But anyway, Henry Winkler's son. He may have been, but on that show, I didn't like him very much. But it was a really good show. I loved it. And I actually got to talk to Henry Winkler about it at a Wizard World a couple years ago, and he gave me a kiss on the cheek. It was, oh my God, he was amazing. I'm like, the Fonz kissed me. I'm lucky I actually washed that cheek. Anyway, his son Max is a director, and there's a series on Netflix called Monsters, and this one is Monsters, the Ed Gein story. And Max directed 6 out of the 8 episodes, and it's a really cool. I'm 2 episodes in, and it's just this amazing, intense look at Ed Gein, who was a real life serial killer, who was the inspiration for Norman Bates, partly for Leatherface, and partly for Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs. All had some. Norman Bates was a lot closer to Ed Gein than the other 2, but they all had something relating back to Ed Gein. But Ed Gein, yeah, me too, Dave. You and I simpatico. When I first heard about him, I was fascinated. And here's the other thing. Besides this very in-depth, yeah, George Foreman. Yep. Chris is right. It was George and William and Henry and Terry. There's like a movie, like a pseudo biographical movie. There's a pseudo biographical movie about Ed Gein, and the reason that I watched that one was because it was starring none other than oh my God, Kane Hodder, who, for anybody that doesn't know, has the distinction of playing Jason the most times in all of the Friday the 13th movies. Kane Hodder played Jason the most times, and I can bring Kane into Star Trek 2 in 2 seconds. But I watched that. That one was pretty good, but this is intense. And it is creepy. And they got Laurie Metcalf from The Big Bang Theory and Roseanne in it. And he travels the world giving history of his life in some in a community. Oh my God, Ed, that's amazing. Ed saw Henry Winkler. I would love to hear him speak. I met him, but I would love to hear him speak. That would be so cool. So anyway, yeah, so Kane Hodder did this little, movie dramatization, but this goes much deeper. And like I said, I'm already on the 2nd episode. It is creepy AF, but it's really good, Dave. I highly, 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 highly recommend it. So if you wanna check it out, hold on a second. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Hi, Joel. Thanks for joining us. Good to see you. Nice of you to join us. Okay. So yeah, so I definitely want to mention, especially because Halloween. I love October. AMC's already doing their 31 days of Halloween. But I feel like I really just want to get into Hi Roy. I'm just gonna call you Roy. Raoul Productions, aka my buddy Roy, aka my buddy Enterprise. Hi Roy, thanks for coming in. So yeah, the Ed Gein monster, the Ed Gein story. 2 episodes in, and I'm freaking hooked. The 2nd episode blew me away. I don't want to spoil it for anybody like Dave, who said he's going to watch it. So Yes, exactly. The important thing is you made it. Get my numbers up. Smash that like button. If you're not subscribed, I think you all are, but please subscribe. Okay, so now we're going to get into Strange New Worlds. 10 episodes. A lot of people thought that this was like the worst season overall for Strange New Worlds. The problem is these 10 episode seasons. It's like it's almost like there's more pressure on you to produce perfect episodes every time because you don't have as much room for bad episodes. When you're shooting a 22 episode season, you can have a couple clunkers because they're going to be surrounded by some strong episodes. So it's easier to balance out. But when you have, when you have a couple clunkers in a 10 episode season, people just tend to stop watching. They're going to write off the entire season. So I just feel, I feel so bad for Strange New Worlds in that respect, because they had some strong episodes and then they had some meh episodes. I was actually using IMDb just for my synopses of each episode to refresh my memory. So I was looking at what people were saying about it. And, there's some episodes were 6. Hi, Lasso. Good to see you. Overall, I thought yay. I'm always going to say yay. Honestly, I think it can carry just on the back of what is it? A space adventure hour was my favorite out of all of them. But I mean, Frequency Part 2. The biggest note I can have about Frequency Part 2 is that once again, it proves, as far as starship captains are concerned, the needs of the few outweigh the needs of the many, because a Star Trek captain will always go back. He doesn't leave anyone behind. He will figure out a way to rescue his crew. And the fact that Ortega had such PTSD after it, and it carried on for episodes. They didn't ignore it. She didn't get back to normal right away. I really appreciated the fact that we had to watch her come to terms episode by episode with what she had gone through. Yeah, exactly. And I agree with you. And I'm really missing the fact that I can't click on this and put it on the bottom of my screen. Yeah, this is why everybody uses third party. And at this rate, I am thinking heavily of going back to StreamYard, and I'm going to really kind of let Restream have it at this point. Wedding Bell Blues, which was the next episode, which was a very lighthearted episode. Getting Rhys Darby to play the wedding planner was so perfect. I love him. I absolutely, right now I could not, I want to say he was in Flight of the Conchords. That's where I want to say that I know him from. But I think he is fantastic. I thought, as, some sort of relation to Trelane, or if they were looking for a Trelane-like character, they nailed it with Rhys. I thought it was a really interesting episode. The best thing was that my buddies over at Trek Geeks did an episode about it, and they were talking about Wedding Bell Blues, and I asked, I texted Bill like the next day. I missed the episode, and I texted him the next day. I'm like, I said, do you know the fifth dimension? Will you marry me, Bill? And William goes, yeah, for my entire life. And I said, you did the Wedding Bell Blues. Why didn't anybody say, will you marry me, Bill? Because that's the name of the song, Will You Marry Me, Bill? Wedding Bell Blues. Anyway, so I got a chance to tease Bill Smith, which is always fun. Trek Geeks. If you guys are not watching Trek Geeks, you should be. And of course, having John Delancey come in and do that voice, definitely now it looks like they are trying to say that Trelane was a baby Q, which I loved as well. Oh, that's right, Dave. Designing women to do a suit. That's right. I've said this. Wait, what did Lasso say? that song they played on Designing. Oh, Jinx. Somebody and Lasso, your package is going in the mail. You have to be sending it express mail, but text me after and remind me when you need that package by. And let me, yeah, okay. Yeah, I've and that's another thing that I meant that I thought about Wedding Bell Blues. They're definitely diving into Spock's more emotional side. But if we all remember when we watched the case. Okay. All right. So Dave, did you sing? Did you sing to keep everybody company while I was trying to fix this? I am, believe it or not, on my hotspot on my phone. I just changed it up. So thanks, Dave. Can always count on you to keep the party going. Okay. So what we were talking about is Spock and his emotionalism, and how if you watch The Cage, you definitely got the feeling that he was they were going to portray him more emotional. The Cage, he smiled in The Cage. So I don't have a problem with Strange New Worlds kind of exploring his more I don't mind that we're exploring his more emotional side. It's just interesting he's turning into the Captain Kirk of the ship. First it was Christine, now it's but he is hot Spock. Like Dave says, he is hot Spock. But yeah, I think it's interesting that they're letting him kind of explore that human side of him. I'd be interested if before Strange New World ends, if we see why by the time he's on the bridge with Captain Kirk, why he's shut that side of him down. They kind of explored it. They explored it a little bit in the Kelvin universe. Pluto TV, they just turned it off, but they had their Star Trek movie channel back, and every time the Kelvin stuff was on, I was watching it. And in the second one, Into Darkness, Spock was talking about, you know, his emotionalism and feeling pain, and when he mind melded with their Pike as he died, those feelings. So oh, well, that's very cool, Chris. Well, next month is November. Oh, you're going to Chicago? You going to ST Shy? I would love to do that. I would listen. If I had the money and the time, I'd go to every Star Trek convention. I don't like him spreading his Spockness throughout every bridge officer, and that he was mostly emotionally moody at the beginning. He has other emotions to dive into. Okay. All right, yeah, that's true. There's more emotions than that. Yeah, but there's jealousy. I mean, obviously there's jealousy. That's what Wedding Bell Blues was bringing out. Oh, well, yeah, if Nana's telling you to be somewhere, you be somewhere. Absolutely. Okay, so the next episode was Shuttle to, what is that? I can't even read my own writing. Kenafray. So this one, so the shuttle episode, you got action Pike and action M'Benga, because he's not just a doctor, he's got his action modes. And his every time you turn around, something from M'Benga's past is making him one of the most interesting complicated people on the Enterprise. And zombies. You got a version of zombies. I am still, if you ask me, with push comes to shove, Vulcan zombies are scarier. Action M'Benga. There you go. I like that, Chris. I still think that zombie Vulcans were scarier, but these guys were scarier. And I love Klingons. I absolutely love Klingons and their single-mindedness when it comes to honor and sacrifice, and just, today is a good day to die. This is very unexpected. There you go. Yeah, you love it when those little things kind of sneak in, Joel, where you're like, wait a minute, that's not from that, it's from that other thing that is so cool. Yeah, absolutely. I haven't seen Dawn of the Dead in a while. I've seen them all. And just to name drop, Night of the Living Dead, the guy that wrote it, John Russo, is a buddy. I did actually at one point when this wasn't just Star Trek, I wanted to get him on my show. He's a sweetheart. He's a sweetheart. I met him at a horror convention. So yes, I know the guy that wrote the original "They're Coming to Get You, Barbara," which also has a tie to Star Trek because Tony Todd played the African American character in the remake. The Ortegas disobeyed to save them and got officially reprimanded, but when Aurora fudged calculations to save Ortega, she didn't get punished for it. Yeah, it's interesting. You definitely have a point. You definitely have a point. Yeah, Ortega. I don't know. I thought it was no. Wait, Aurora fudged. It wasn't Aurora. It was Uhura. Yeah, it was Uhura. Thanks, Dave. Or yeah, thanks, Chris. Yeah, Uhura. I don't know why I blanked on that name. Nice callback to General with Biffa. It was a full episode plus. Wolkoff wrote it, and I'm partial to his episodes. Yeah, I thought it was a strong episode. Like I said, I love how Klingons, when honor is satisfied, I love that culture. I think it's awesome. Okay, and now we reach my favorite episode, A Space Adventure Hour. I thought it was hysterical. Just when it opened, I thought it was really funny. I thought Paul Wesley did a perfect Kirk. Wasn't over the top. It was just that it was so good. Props to Paul Wesley. That was a great send up of Captain Kirk. The whole thing was a great send up of Star Trek. The goofy special effects, the fact that the bridge set, was all glued together. Oh, push the button. The button doesn't push. It's glued here. I thought that was fantastic. Then you couple that in with a murder mystery that throws back to the 60s and to Star Trek and the almost cancellations. And then Celia got that gorgeous speech that she got to give about a vision of the future that people can try to hold on to and aspire to. I just thought it was a great episode. I liked the fact that they were trying to make a holodeck. I love that because, you get on the Enterprise in TNG and oh, look at this gorgeous holodeck, and Data's off whistling and Wesley falls in the water and Data lifts him out. But to see that they try, to kind of, again, like, oh yeah, well, we tried it and it didn't work. But the fact it had to start somewhere. So I love the fact that they were beta testing it and then they found out what was wrong with it. And now, now they know that they need safety protocols and everything. I thought that was really cool. What crew member's avatar was the murder victim? Totally should have had that actor in the background as one. I think it had more to do with who caught who. Oh, yeah, there you go. That's an interesting take, Greg. Who caught Dave? Who caught who? Uh-huh. Ortega's Una, Uhura, Pike. That's a really interesting take on it, Dave. Directly endangered the ship at the time, too. Yeah, absolutely. Because the point should, because then that's showing that Una and Pike aren't necessarily on the same page where discipline's concerned. But Pike knew. That's the other thing. That was interesting. Like Pike, that was the other thing is like Pike knew and decided to do it anyway. Like it wasn't that Uhura was necessarily lying to him, although she did, but Pike knew that she was. So he could have very easily said, I know it, and he chose not to. So that's another different little thing there too. Yeah, exactly. Pike was a wink and a nod. And and what she did when she was flying the ship was it was slightly different. It was like, like right on the razor's edge of being different. So okay, so now we've got Through the Lens of Time. So okay, so this was a rough one because I was thinking about it. We haven't really lost anybody major. We haven't lost anybody major as and since Hemmer, and now M'Benga chooses somebody specifically, this bright-eyed, enthusiastic medical assistant, and he's like, you're ready, and he sends him, and he wasn't even wearing a red shirt, and he got and the captains and the first officers, they're all kind of prepared for this. Like they know when they take up the mantle of command, they know that they're going to be sending people on an away mission and they may not come back. I mean, that doesn't mean that they don't feel it. That doesn't mean that they don't that they're not going to be emotional about it, but they're prepared for it. They know that it's part of their role. But for a doctor to kind of do it and then have this happen to him, and again, we know M'Benga's been through a lot of shit, but that doesn't change the fact that he took this beautiful, bright-eyed, really enthusiastic kid, sent him on an away mission, and he gets taken over by these evil entities. But I thought it was clever that, of course, the fictional characters would be modeled after real people in the experiment. Yeah, I didn't find it uneven. I thought it went pretty well. I mean, yeah, I enjoyed it, but Ed, this is safe space. Every opinion is respected. So I thought Through the Lens, and now we're also getting the other thing that happened in Through the Lens of Time is we're finally getting that we got two little hints. We got that hint of it where Corby's going with that whole that obsession with eternal life, which we all know from What Are Little Girls Made Of. And we're also finally finding out what these flashes are with Captain Batal. Like what these are, which I always just thought were Gorn flashes, but they weren't. They were this other evil entity. Yeah, exactly. Who would expect going to some ancient ruins would lead to a prison of these demons, basically? They walked in just expecting to find knowledge, and they found something much, much more malevolent that comes back to haunt us later. I just love the shallot that ate its tail. I just like the title of that next episode. I love Carol Kane. I absolutely love Carol Kane. I love the whole thing with the phones and the 80s. I thought that was hysterical. And I loved watching Captain Kirk be not Captain Kirk. It's the same reason that I love Enterprise, because none of them knew what they were doing when they left. And now we're getting to see all of our favorite characters in their infancy. And you're getting to see Kirk struggle. He doesn't know what to do. This is his first time at the helm and his first time in command, and it's a shit show. And not only does he have to worry about the Farragut, he's got to help worry about the Enterprise. So it's like he's got a lot going on. And I think this has to be probably my second favorite episode, because I love Kirk and I love the way Paul Wesley plays him. And again, watching Kirk and Spock starting to connect, and watching Kirk take his first tiny little steps, watching Pike kind of mentor him, all of these things that where they're heading to. And I think that it was a really great peek at the future. Yeah, exactly. And everybody's got this the bumpiness and the growing. And to be able to watch some of our favorite characters be unsure of themselves helps us realize that, everybody's unsure. Everybody has their moments. And and you grow from them, and just watching all of these interactions and watching the relationships start to gel with Scotty, who I love. I love the actor that's playing Scotty. I had to talk to him in Vegas a little bit, but to watch like the Scotty and them learning to kind of feel each other out. I really love that episode as well. What is Starfleet? Nah, that was not one of my favorites. Yeah, there you go. Step it up. Step it up. I love that. Yeah, you got people depending on you. This is what leadership is about if you want to be a captain. They're making the character builds for their eventual 5-year Enterprise mission. Spock Kirk. I give the writers credit. It's tricky bit. Yeah, but you know what? It is tricky business, but at least they have an advance notice of when they're done. So hopefully they won't do what we all know Enterprise did and tried to shove like 2 extra seasons in the last episode. So hopefully with this solid writing team, they'll be able to get us to that point, to that Star Trek TOS starting point, however close they want to get it. I'm wondering, is Pike going to be able to change his destiny? If Pike doesn't end up in that chair, in that wheelchair from the radiation poisoning, Kirk's not going to get that seat. So are they going to end it? Is that where it's going to end? So it's going to be interesting. Yeah, the whole documentary thing, and then it comes down to basically a hatchet job on Starfleet because Bento doesn't quite get it, and hanging out with them, he still didn't quite get it. Yeah, it didn't do it for me either, Dave. I think I'm with you on that. What did Ed say? Kirk and Spock. Yes, Kirk and Spock. Yep. So we're just gonna kind of skip over it because it just, yeah. Because what time is it? Okay, this is actually going quicker than I thought. Okay, 4.5 Vulcans. A lot of people hated this episode. I didn't quite hate it. Yeah. Oh, Ed, absolutely. It was very emotional to see these relationships starting. Tugs. It does. You have that moment. 4.5 Vulcans, I thought it was interesting. There were parts of it that I thought were interesting. The fact that they all took on, like, Vulcans have very specific qualities, like the whole not sleeping and being able to multitask that Christine kind of ended up glomming onto, the organization and that whole human stink, and it needs to be clean and everything needs to be perfect, that Pike ended up exhibiting. The have to plan out everything. Everything must have a purpose. Every minute of the day, you must know what you're doing, that Uhura had. I thought that was interesting that they all ended up, a Vulcan has all these traits, but they're all part of one whole, whereas each one of the humans that got to be Vulcan kind of was exemplifying individual trait. Yes, that was funny. I will give you that. At the Space, the Final Frontier that he did in the Vulcan. Yes, that was funny. I will give you that. But the one thing I was thinking about with La'an, when she was getting massively militant and aggressive, and they're like, "Oh, Romulan," they immediately went to, and I admit, I immediately went to, "Oh, yeah, she's being more Romulan." And then, as I was thinking about it, I thought, Romulan? Or could she just be a bigger throwback to the times before Sarek, when Vulcans were militant and aggressive? It didn't necessarily have to be the nudge to the Romulans. It could have just been what she was focusing on was that, which fits her personality, because that's who she is. She's the security chief. Yeah. So there were parts of it I liked, parts of it I didn't. I didn't like the digs on Spock so much. The fact that his hair got taller, I thought was funny. I on that episode, but a lot of people did not like that episode. Oh wait, but I did like Patton Oswalt. That was the one with Patton, right? Yes, Patton Oswalt. I liked the Una Patton Oswalt thing. I thought that was cute. And Patton Oswalt seemed to be like one of those Vulcans that we met on Enterprise that kind of skewed logic. They weren't, not all of them were nice, as we all know, but yeah, I liked Patton Oswalt take on Vulcan. So Geranium. Definitely agreed, Ed. Yeah, please bring him back. That would be great, Joel. I agree with you. Let him be the Jeffrey Combs of Strange New Worlds for as long as it can last, and just bring him back as different people. I love that. Yes, Patton is fantastic. Terrarium. Definitely felt like Dawn, for those of you that know that Enterprise episode. I know there's at least a couple people in here that know that Enterprise episode. It definitely felt like Dawn, but we've already talked about how scripts get rehashed. They get reused and they get reworked. And this one fit because to put Ortega on a planet where the only way to survive was to work with a Gorn, I thought was really well done. It was a great idea to learn that, to see past your prejudices of an entire species and to deal with one-on-one and to learn. And like the fact that she learned that she spoke English, like she understood English, I thought was really funny. But the fact that they learned to communicate, just like Trip had to do on Dawn. And notice I have not said what everybody else is probably thinking. Oh, it's just like Darmok. And yes, it is like Darmok, but I like Dawn better because you ended up with Trip Tucker in his underwear again. I was thinking more Darmok, not the enemy, but you could be right, Dave, because that one I don't remember. Enemy Mine, but that's fine. It's a great concept and was perfect for it. Yes, it was really perfect for the arc. What killed me was, and this is what killed me. Ortega is crawling out of the bunker with a Gorn right behind her. They were obviously together, and La'an shot the Gorn anyway. That pissed me off. Of course, they kind of needed that for that entity to come down and be like, you're not ready, that whole thing. But that pissed me off because she should be a better soldier than that. She really should be. And I want to see Ortega. I wanted to see Ortega dealing with that a little bit more because La'an should have held her fire. They literally were coming out like what you thought that Ortega didn't know that the Gorn was in there with her. Tiny little thing. But yeah, I thought it was really well done, and it was like Ed just said, it was perfect for Ortega's character. So I really like that. I like the title of the last episode, New Life and New Civilizations. This one, of course, had a hint of ending suck, but what I think they would have been problematic with what do they do next season with the grandmom Gorn. Well, that's true, but you know what? They could have just returned her, maybe. Or I don't know if she will she even be able to go back to her people after what she'd been through, because there was that whole thing about weakness. So I don't know. Maybe the Gorn would have opted to stay on that planet, but she should have been given the choice and she shouldn't have been shot. Oh, what did I miss? Okay. Okay. So New Life and New Civilizations. This one had that tiny little hint of an inner and this isn't even one of my favorite episodes, but Inner Light, where you got to see Captain Pike live out this dream lifetime in an instant. With his girlfriend. Which I thought was sweet. Because you knew she wasn't going to be sticking around. You knew she wasn't gonna last past this season. And obviously they'd been hinting at it for the entire season that something was going to happen. So that, yeah, that, I don't know. As far as the rest of it, I guess it was a good tie up. It seemed a little easy, like an easier answer than I thought it would be. They could have maybe pushed this off for a two-parter instead of just ending it. It just seemed like they were a lot easier to defeat. I mean, the whole thing where they had to figure out how to open the door again and all that. But I don't know. It was okay. It was, it wrapped up. I mean, it did wrap up the season nicely, but yeah, I still think my favorite one is going to be A Space Adventure Hour, and then followed by probably The Shallot That Ate Its Tail. That's, yeah, exactly. And it was a stretch. But next season's the last season, right? We're looking at, the end. So hopefully they'll tie it up. It feels like it definitely feels like it's getting closer to Pike's accident. So I hope they tie it up neater. Like I said, at least my ex is an eternal prison guard. There you go. Yeah, exactly. So what happened to your girlfriend? Oh, well, funny thing happened on this planet out in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, that's true. Warden, not prison guard. Yeah, that's absolutely true. But yeah, like I said, because they got enough of a notice, I'm hoping that they can tie this up nice and neat the way they tied it. Love it or hate it, Discovery tied itself up very nicely. There were no questions. Well, not really any questions to be asked. So hopefully hopefully Strange New Worlds will tie itself up nice and kind of be able to move us into, like, make that connection with TOS. What did you think of the life that Patel and Pike had? I thought it was sweet. I have this weird thing about accelerated life and watching somebody go from, like, happily married to dying. That's just me. I just, but I thought it was nice. Though, you know what? The one thing I did think, what I did think was funny was that house that they lived in. All I could think of was Captain Kirk's house in the Nexus. And I'm thinking, what, do all Starfleet captains end up in these giant luxury cabins in the mountains somewhere when they retire? Because I literally wondered if they dusted off that set and just changed it up a little bit. Pike puppies were A+. Yeah. Oh yeah, I know it was meant to be sad in the end, obviously, but I don't know. I still think that's just me, but thank you, Ed. Yeah, super Nexus vibes. But that part I liked. I did like that part because I think they both deserved to kind of have that life that could have been like, that they got to live it in, in those short few minutes. Pike needed to cook eggs with dillweed for sure. And yeah, but they had to be like, weren't there like giant eggs? Doesn't the Nexus give you like really big eggs? And Butler, you need the dog. But yeah, hopefully, like I said, I'm looking forward to the final season with all of this notice. I'm hoping that it's just going to tie everything up, and we'll kind of maybe even get to see like the mantle of command get turned over to Kirk, because there isn't anybody between Kirk and Pike. So hopefully we'll kind of get to see that. But what's interesting is while I was thinking about doing this episode and talking about all the, talking about the season of SNW, I realized I have gotten superior to Riker's. No, Riker only does pizza. If you want pizza, you go to Riker. Down Abbey Nexus. Oh, that would be fun. I think I'm going to do a comparison. of the characters, especially the female characters, how they were originally written and how they're being kind of rewritten and redone. Because Christine and Uhura, definitely very different than the Christine and Uhura of TOS. You know, Carol Marcus, even if you want to do Kelvin. I haven't decided if I'm going to jump into the Kelvin universe, but that's definitely going to be an episode. I would love to sit and talk to you guys about what you think about what they're doing with mostly the female characters, because of how different things were in the 60s when you wrote women, and what you can do with women, with female characters now. So I think that is going to be, I don't know if it's going to be the next episode, might be the next episode, could be the episode after next, who knows? Because as we all know, it's my show, and I pick and I do need to start getting in on that whole guest list thing, but I am going to work on that too, because I do want to. Oh, thanks, Dave. So Dave, before next week, hopefully you'll watch some of that Ed Gein, so we can talk about that. Not on the show, but Halloween is coming up, and I haven't decided. I'm not sure if I'm going to do my traditional Halloween episode or if I'm going to change it up this year. The jury's still out on that one. Oh, and I did promise, we were talking about something, and I thought I was going to, I don't know if it was Henry Winkler, but something I was going to bring around to Star Trek, and then I lost my train of thought. And now it's completely derailed and out of the station. So I don't know what I'm going to do about Restream, but hopefully next week, guys, I'll be on Restream. I'll have my bridge back up. You won't have to look at the mess that is my office. Like, yes. Yeah. How do I have 6 people watching and only 4 likes? I'm a likable kind of gal. So yeah, hit that like button. I would really appreciate it. Like Dave said, thank you, Dave. All right, guys, thank you so much for being here. Ed and Chris and Joel and Roy and Dave, and of course, my one and only Magic Lasso. I don't know where I would be without my lasso. He is the magic in my life. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for being here, and I can't wait to see you all next week. And until then, please don't forget, like, share, subscribe, live long and prosper.